So I'm officially at the point where I've taken this van out for a fair few missions already, a few stealth camps, and it's worked really well. Like I always say on this channel, that you don't actually really know what you need until you start using a vehicle. I've got a few little snagging jobs that I want to get done today. Nothing too big actually, but I am going to be installing a Charger 1. This is the Bluetti DC to DC charger. And as great as the solar is for charging the power station, on a day like today, the sun is shining, it's absolutely stunning. But on the sort of grey, miserable days, I don't want to get sort of charge anxiety, as I like to call it, where you're not sure whether you've got enough juice in your power station for your trip. So this Charger 1 is essentially like a normal DC to DC charger. It's an alternator charger. It just means that when the van's running, when you're driving around, it charges the power station as you drive. Now you can actually just plug it straight into the cigarette lighter on the car, but you don't get as many watts through as you would with a DC to DC charger. So this is going to make hopefully a huge difference, and it will just take away that little bit of anxiety of, have I got enough charge? One of the other jobs I want to get done today as well is I need to do something with this ladder. And when I say I need to do something with it, when I built this, I had it in my mind that the ladder would live up here all the time. So I piped in all of my electrical wires for the CCTV and for the solar and everything through the ladder. And I realized the other day when I went surfing, I put the surfboard up on top of the roof rack and it had to go on top of the ladder. And I was thinking, it's a bit of a pain that I can't just, because I'm not always going to want the ladder on there. I'm not always going to want this van to look like a builder's van. Sometimes I want it just to look like a regular sort of camper van without windows. So I need to be able to take it off. So I'm going to disconnect all of the wires that I've sort of piped into the ladder, and I'm just going to redirect them, hopefully under the platform that the solar panel sits on. And that's sort of the way that my mind's going with it. But if they don't reach, I'll have to sort of, I don't know, pipe them around another way. But the main end goal is just making sure that I can take that ladder off if I need to, or if I just want to change the appearance of the van for whatever reason. So with this DC to DC charger, this is literally it. It's probably one of the easiest setups that you can actually do. The connections go in there and then out through that side. They have supplied me with all the wires as well to connect it, so like I said, it should be a fairly easy, straightforward job. I think with the first thing with mounting this is, where am I going to put it? The way that this works is you can't actually, let's put this seat out of the way. I mean, it needs to go there really, I think. Next to this is the isolation switch for the solar. So the solar wires come in through here, and then these wires connect from the power station into there. And one of the things with the Charger 1 is that you can't actually have it connected to the solar and this at the same time. So what I could do is, when I'm parked up, I literally just plug these into here, and then when I'm driving, I unplug that and then just plug it straight in to the Bluetti. But the only problem with that is then I have to remember to unplug it before I drive off anywhere, so that I'm making sure that, you know, it is getting its charge. I mean, ultimately when I'm driving, it will still be charging off the solar anyway, so if I do forget to do it, it's not going to be the end of the world, but it's a little bit of a pain. The other option is maybe I come up with some sort of like something like this, which is an isolation switch that not only cuts off the solar, but when you cut off the solar, it allows the DC to DC charger to work. That way I could just go off, and then the current is all literally coming from this rather than from this section here. But I don't actually know how to do that. so I could just be talking complete gibberish. Another option that I saw as well, I can't take credit for this, I did see it on another YouTube channel. It's called Mel's Big World Small Van or something, or it might be the other way around. You put a couple of adapters on the wires which stop the current from sort of backflowing one way. So it just means that you can actually have the solar and the alternator charger charging the power station at the same time. That's another option. I'm not going to probably be doing that today, but I could probably do that at a later date if swapping the wires over is a big issue for me. They do give you an RCD type fuse on these, but it's on the essentially on the wrong side, because any sort of DC to DC charger that I've ever installed, they've always said to put the fuse as close to the battery as possible, and that's from the car battery, not from the power station battery. So I might need to cut these wires back and actually install my own fuse on that side, just so that it's that little bit safer. I mean, I'm no doubt this will do the job fine, and I doubt there'll ever be any issues with it, but just for my peace of mind, I'm going to I will install one on the other side as well. So as you're aware, the batteries in these vans are underneath the passenger seat here. So I need to work out how I'm going to get those wires from here, along there, up, and then up to where the DC to DC charger is going to be on that side. I just had this great idea with this coat hanger. Just came to me and I was thinking, how am I going to feed these wires underneath this rubber matting, because it's like a snake. You push it through and it ends up just bending around everywhere. I grabbed a coat hanger, fed them through there, and then just literally it went straight through. Probably saved me about an hour's worth of getting annoyed. There is a tool to do this, and I've got one somewhere. So I did say it would be very handy if I could take the power station out, which is what I've done, so that I can play around with these wires. I do actually have a little gully down here which I can bring the wires up through, so I think that's what I'm going to do. They even give you the Allen keys with this, which is ideal. Because I was thinking, I don't know if I've got an Allen key that will fit down that hole, but they sent me one. But it came in the kit. The next one. So I reckon if I tidy this up with some clips and just get it all nice and piped in like that, these two connectors can go underneath. So then when it's connected into there, I just pop it out and then just plug it straight into there. I think that'll be nice. And then I need to get some connectors to sort of tidy these wires up down that wall as well. And obviously this needs to be mounted somewhere as well. The wires are run right through. At the moment I've just got it kind of running along the floor here, and then it goes up and under the mat there, only because the wire's so long and I don't really want to have to cut it. And then I just need to get it now into this box, and I was thinking what I normally do is I drill like a little hole in the corner so I can get both wires down through, and I'd probably normally want to go there. I don't really want to have to take the seat out, and I can't get this drill in there, so I mean I could go in there probably. There would be all right, and then I can just drop it in through. Right, I've decided. Ooh, we have a green light. But is that flashing gonna give away the stealth van? Who knows? Now, before I get this plugged in, what I do want to do is plug in one of these Bluetti power stations, not necessarily this one, into the cigarette lighter of the van, just so we can find out how many watts of power are actually getting drawn from the engine with it just being plugged into the cigarette lighter, and then we can do a comparison to see how much of a difference this actually makes. Okay, so we're going to be testing this one here, which is the AC200L, and I know you're probably thinking, well, why bother with this one when I could just test it on this one? Well, because it's been a sunny day and this one's been connected to the solar all day, it's actually full. So, and I know this one's on 51%, so it'll give us a better sort of accurate reading. Right, one of the first things you've got to do is connect the charger one to your Bluetti app, which you should have already if you've already got a Bluetti product. Right, select model, here we go. So I'm going to be plugging it into the AC200L, which was that on there. Right, so now we're set to the AC200L. Start the engine. The cigarette lighter, which is connected to this cable, which connects into here. We are generating 96 watts just by the engine idling. Okay, so now what we do is we disconnect this one that plugs into the cigarette lighter and plug in this one here, which has the correct connections for this. And then we're going to plug this in, on. Okay, so we're now actually on 526 watts and it's gone down to 1.8 hours. So is what it's saying how long it would take to charge this from 51% up to 100%. So if I use 100% of my battery, it would probably take around about 4 hours to charge up. And for a lot of you probably take a lot of sort of trips when you're driving and everything. Mine tend to be a little bit sort of closer by, but at least I know that I can, if I ever get desperate, I can literally charge up the battery just by leaving the engine idling when I'm parked up somewhere. Worst case scenario. And just for a comparison, based on the normal sort of 12 volt socket that you get, it's saying to charge it from 57%, which is what we're on now, to 100%, it would take 10.7 hours. What a difference. And then all I need to do is connect this up to my AC240 and we're ready to go. Now, just for full disclosure, this video wasn't sponsored by Bluetti today. However, they did send me the Charger One free of charge because they said that it will go really well with the van. So I accepted it. So just to obviously let everybody know, I always like to be sort of perfectly honest when I get sent stuff or whether I'm doing a sponsorship. So like I said, not sponsored, but I did get that for free. But I'm pretty sure my Bluetti discount still works, so I'll leave it linked below, and then you can, if you do decide you want to get any of their products, my discount does still work. All right, so now that's fitted, I'm gonna head up onto the roof and see if I can rearrange these wires. Right, so I think I need to start with the front one. That's the CCTV and it's piped in around there, but what I'm gonna have to do is cut that and see if I can get it piped in around this way. Okay, so now that camera wire comes across there. You can see that with all that mess there. Wire comes across there, down and around, and then under there. That still needs to be all tucked in and tidied up. But these wires that go through the ladder there are going to be next on my agenda. Go. I can now remove the ladder. Oh, there's a tree there. So from down here, like when the ladder was on there, you can't see the wires. You can see a few cable ties, but that's about it. So now I have all this space to either put a ladder on or put a surfboard on it if I want to go surfing. And I've realised, having used this van a few times, that I may not always want the ladders on here. So it's good that I can just put them on just for show now, as opposed to them being completely intertwined with the electrical system on the roof here. And just in case I want to sell the builder's van even more, I've now got two ladders on here. Because who drives around with just one ladder on their roof? Do you know what I mean? I'm going to just slowly stack them up. 7 ladders Interesting though, with two ladders on, it still sits underneath my roof bars here, which is great because it means that when I'm looking at height restriction barriers, I know that to the top of there is my maximum height. So everything's working. I now have a DC to DC charger that charges my Bluetti AC240. I have a ladder on the roof that I can take out. I've still got a few jobs to do in this van. I want to relocate the toilet. It's currently under there, and I'm thinking I'm going to put it up against the bulkhead next to the sliding door in a box. It will all be nicely concealed, but I'll leave that until another video. I'm just going to keep using the van and sort of iron out all the creases of the things that I really like and the things that don't seem to work as well as what they should, and I will forever be evolving this van. But other than that, I'll see you on Sunday. Cheers!